heard the saying, less is more. But when it comes to pruning buxus, you've actually got to be pretty harsh. I'll show you how to do it properly.
Got a busted garage door? Get your car out of lockdown with this simple fix. Form and function might be the theme in your laundry, but it can still be amazing.
So here are some ideas from a few of our
I really love a flower-filled and free-flowing garden. But to make those elements really shine, you need some structure. And you do that with topiary. Now this can look a little bit complicated, but it's really simple and I'll show you how. The king of topiary has to be the buxus. You can buy it in almost any shape. You can get cones, standards. The most common are these balls and they are very, very expensive. You can also buy it just like this. It's less expensive, but you get less impact. It doesn't take much work though to prune it back and to start to create these shapes yourself. You need a really sharp pair of secateurs because you don't want to gnash any of the cuts, and you really want to just start bringing it back in to give you a rounded shape. I'm being really harsh with this. You can tell I'm taking off quite a lot. But what we're trying to do is promote new growth that's really dense in habit. So we need to cut it back and then you let it grow out over the seasons, making sure you continually prune. Now that looks a little bit different already. I've reduced it by quite a lot. Don't be scared to take this sort of amount off. You're just going to promote new growth, which is going to give you a denser ball. Once that big structure's gone though, you just want to snip around the edges to start to work out some sort of ball shape. And if you squint, like really squint, you can see the beginnings of a ball like this occurring. This isn't a set and forget type thing. You do need to come back and keep clipping it as much as you possibly can. Actually, the more you clip it, the denser your ball's going to be. And you'll be surprised in a couple of years, you'll be looking at something like this. Another great plant for topiary is the Eleagnus. Now you'll see this all through my garden. I love it because it's incredibly fast growing, but it also has these amazing copper-coloured stems and bronze leaves, so you can get a nice contemporary look in your garden. This plant already had that hard haircut that I gave the last buxus, and it's reshot again. But when you come to prune it, you don't want to take it all off back to where it was before, but again, you don't want to leave it too long. So I'm going to bring it back into about here, and within about 6 or 7 years, which sounds like a lot, but you'll get something amazing like the ones behind us. The thing I really love about topiary is you can keep it at whatever size you like. You can have small or large. When you are pruning them though, you almost rest your shears on top and just lots of short, sharp motions to maintain your shape. If you're doing balls or tippies, to get down low so you can see the bottom side of the curve as well, and that will maintain a really nice shape. You can do anything you want. Small balls, large balls, squares, cones. You can even do clouds like this. It really is up to your imagination, but just remember, have some fun with it. Humble garden spade. You certainly can achieve a lot with it, but there's quite a few on the market. Which one's right for you? Well, we'll dig in and find out. The first lot we're going to look at are these ones. These are for moving bulk materials, things like top dress or piles of sand. You want something with a nice straight edge and a wide, flat mouth. That way it can hold a lot of material. If you're working from a ute, the short handle's the way to go because it changes the centre of gravity and makes it much easier. If you're working from a pile on the ground, you want to use one of these. If you've got yourself a big pile of mulch, you want to get yourself one of these. It's a bull nose shovel. It's nice and pointy at the end, but again, wide. So you can dig it straight into the pile and you get more on your shovel. That means the pile goes down a little bit quicker. What you don't want to do with it though is drag it along the floor to pick up your mulch because you'll wear the end of your shovel. And you don't want to do that. You You want to be using, again, the flat edge. Ooh, doesn't sound good, but it does get a lot of mulch on your shovel. You should use this one for gravel as well. When it comes to the heavy stuff like gravel, road base and concrete, you probably want to upgrade to one of these. It's like the first shovel I showed you, but it's got a metal handle. It's quite lightweight, but it's really strong. I also like to use it for a bit of leveling. You can draw that flat blade across the material. It gives you a really nice basic level. Of course, there's shovels and spades just for digging holes and putting plants in the ground. I like the long-handled one because it gives you really good leverage and it's easier on the back. This one's good because it's got a nice straight edge. You can go for timber handled or metal with plastic handles, but these tend to rub, so I prefer the timber ones. These ones are post hole shovels. They're really good for digging holes, but you'll notice the angle where the top of the shovel meets the handle is completely different. This will give you a shallower hole, so it's good for putting in timber posts because you don't waste too much money on a nice wide hole and put lots of concrete in it. Then there's these are post hole shovels, and they're fantastic if you're putting stumps on a deck, but I don't really like using them for planting. They tend to give you a really hard edge to your hole, and roots find it difficult to penetrate. So you need to go around and just fluff up the edges. The last lot of shovels we're going to look at are trenching shovels. Now these are for digging in cables and conduits. You can imagine you can get a really narrow, deep trench with one of these. You're only really going to need one though if you're a plumber or an electrician, or sadly an apprentice. You know, getting the right tool for the right job will make it so much easier. But sadly, it doesn't do all the hard work for you.
When you're planning a laundry makeover, it's great to make it look amazing, but of course it has to be functional as well. So here are some ideas from a few of our favourite laundry makeovers. You can't go past this one-stop ironing hub. Get your clean clothes from the basket, iron them and hang them up all in the same spot. A drying rack is always a bonus. So I decided to make one, but wait till you see where it goes. So let's take a look at how this is going to work. Well, the outer frame, that gets screwed into the window reveal, and this section, well, that's where you hang your clothes out to dry. So I'll hinge it so it comes forward at a slight angle, and when the clothes are dry, you can lock it back in place. Although this does look like quite a permanent structure, in actual fact what I've done is just pinned it with one screw on either side. It's great, so westerly sun, this is going to dry all of the clothes in no time. Of course, a family-sized drying rack is great, but if you're short on space, I've got a solution for that too. Looking after your clothes is really important if you want them to last. Now, you don't want to be throwing things like your woolens or your delicates into the tumble dryer. The best way to dry them is with an airing rack. So for my one, I've got some Tassie oak. You can buy this off the shelf, and I've just had it cut to length, all at the same size. I'm going to have 5 rungs on this. So to start off with, you'll need to drill a pilot hole and then also go for a bigger drill bit. That way, we can thread everything together. You'll also need some nuts and some washers. So pop one of the nuts on one end, followed by a washer. Thread it through one of your timber lengths, another washer, and then a nut. And keep repeating the process all the way along. Drive you nuts, wouldn't it? You may not have room for a long bench, but how's this for a nifty design? Such a clever idea. If you're feeling industrious, with the right runners, you can actually extend your bench top right the way through to separate your washer and your dryer. Then on wash day, out comes your bench top, basket goes on top, and at the end of the load, in it goes, neat and tidy. Should I just think that's genius. I love that. Check out this workstation. It's designed to make laundry life much easier. Suspending a wire rack with these hooks above where the dryer is going to go gives you a lovely warm place to dry off your woolens and your delicates. Laundry baskets, not just one, have 3. Have one for darks, one for coloureds and one for lights. Saves you a lot of time on wash day. Now baskets like this, in my opinion, are so good because when you get the washing in off the line, the baskets are ventilated, so that's going to help to stop things going really damp and mould if you don't get to them on ironing day. Flip this little board up here, and there's also a hook on the end for a larger ironing board for the bigger loads of ironing. One thing I know that's always going to remain are the lost socks. So we're going to keep the lost sock shop open because I think that that's going to be very handy for years to come.
Does this look familiar? The garage door that's seen better days. Look at that. What happened here, Lisa? Did someone upset you?
Oh, it's been like that for a while now.
Wow-wee. Now, how does this affect you?
I would love to get the car in here to carry the groceries into the house and
Yep.
protect it from the hail.
So when the door was working, was it something you used to use, park the car in
All
here?
the time.
Okay.
Yeah, all
right.
the time.
Have you had a go at fixing it?
My friend and I had a go, but obviously not very well.
Yeah. No success?
No success.
Well, the good news is, like, the door looks pretty good. It's not all banged up and dinted.
Yeah.
And I think this might be able to be fixed.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, so you are a busy mum, but I've got the kids, they're all ready for school, so why don't you take them and I'll have a closer look.
Thanks, Adam.
No worries.
Hurry up, Mum.
They're shouting out at you. From in here, we can see what we're dealing with, and straight away I noticed that it's an electric roller door. You want to make sure that you turn it off at the power for safety before you start working on it. When we look down here and we can see this lock has definitely seen better days, but the whole problem is that the door has popped out of the track, so we need to get it back in there. But I'm going to get started by taking this lock off. These arms are a little bit bent, but they're still in good condition. But because this is an electric roller door, we don't need to use the lock anymore. Otherwise, when you press the button, the door won't go up. But the tip here is don't throw these out, because if something happens to the motor, you want to put these arms back on. That way you can lock the garage. These brackets here have a slotted hole, which means if we loosen these 3 fixings, this track will slide in and out. So what we need to do is align the door, slide the track back in, and do those fixings back up. With the door back in the track, now it's a matter of just doing the screws back up. I'm just lubricating in the guide, and that's going to allow this door to glide nice and easily and prevent any squeaks from happening. You just want to make sure that you use lubrication, not oil or grease, because you'll get dirt that builds up in these guides. All that's left to do is to manually try this door out. So I'll just pull this red lead, that disengages the motor, and here goes, fingers crossed. And we have a garage door again. How good is that? Now I'm just going to re-engage the motor and turn on the power. All right, Lisa, give it a go. You beauty! What do you think?
I love it, thank you.
No worries. You got a roller door again.
Awesome.
So tell me, how is this going to change your life?
Oh, it'll be brilliant. I'll be able to get the car in out of the weather and kids will be able to get into the house easily now.
So, Lisa, I'm happy that you are happy. It puts a smile on my face.
Can I press it again?
Yeah, do it. Look at that.
Awesome.
Who doesn't love the sound of spilling water? Look, the difference between good design and great design is identifying key elements of the home and getting them to perform functions other than what they're known for. And the pool is a great example. Look, it's not only the focus of endless summer fun, but if planned correctly, it'll become the ultimate water feature. The first principle in designing any pool is trying to get as much natural light on it as possible. And that means ideally, if you can, planting it on the northern side of the block and away from neighbours, which may be casting shadows at ground level. If the southern side is the only option, try and move the pool away from the house so it's not in shade all day long. Increasingly in modern home design, we're seeing pools planned right up against the edge of the home. Now, this has a number of advantages. It often makes great use of leftover space between the building and the boundary. It also means the side of the home can act as part of the pool fence. Now, the other great advantage is economics. If you think about it, you dig out the footings for the side of your home, that can also double as the deep end of the pool. And if you can't afford to do the building and the pool at the same time, think about just reinforcing the edge of the home where a future pool may be. That means you can come and dig it out later without disturbing the building. And from an internal design perspective, it introduces water into the aesthetic of the home. What we get are these beautiful reflections and ripples on the wall. It's one of the real advantages of planning the pool right up against the edge of the building. Great architecture is looking for opportunities beyond the obvious, and using the pool, that body of water in and around the home, you are literally immersing yourself in great design.
About taking a road trip is that you're in control. You can choose where you stay, where you eat lunch, where you buy your souvenirs. And if you decide to change your mind, you can do that on a whim. And the beauty of doing that is you find gems like this one, Canowindra. And I've been told when you come to this town, there's only one man to take you on a tour, and that's Tommy Jeffs. Try and guess what time of the year we're visiting. Hello.
Hello, Joe. How are you? Welcome to Montrose. I'm Tallulah.
Thank you, Tallulah. You're gorgeous.
Nothing over the top, love. Just a little house dog.
So look, I'm actually here to meet Tommy.
I'll go and get him for you. He's upstairs somewhere.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much. Make yourself at home. Have a look around. It's a little bit Christmassy.
I love it. This is amazing. Oh, hello.
Hello. Oh, my God. Joe, how are you?
This is amazing being here. There is so much to see and do. Tell me the history of this house.
Well, it was a bank, 1915 to 1988. I bought it 7 years ago.
Wow.
Total reno, and everybody just watched it for 6 weeks, and they're going, oh my God, what? And we were just going, turned out beautifully. This was the bank room, bank manager's office there. And that's the vault there, which is perfect for the red wine, love. I saw the red wine in there.
Because you actually grew up not far from here in Cowra, one of 13?
13, yeah. 10 boys and 3 girls.
That's extraordinary. What was life like?
We didn't have much money, but you were happy.
All the boys and all the girls.
Yes.
You went away to the Big Smoke for a couple of years and they had an amazing restaurant in Port Macquarie.
Yeah.
So what drew you back?
Bought the coffee shop over here, and then it just all evolved. And this town's just fabulous, the best people. So this is one of my favourite theme rooms. So I'm a Kennedy freak.
So have you actually recreated one of their rooms?
The whole room, so it's from the White House.
You're the most extraordinary person for this local community. I mean, you've raised, what, $1.3 million
1.3, yeah,
over 40 years?
Yeah,
You've got an OAM in honour of the charitable work that you do.
Yeah, I was really proud of that.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And Tallulah's a big part of the fundraising.
Oh,
because
yeah,
it really started with Tallulah.
Oh, well, it was mucking around with the football club, and they needed money raised. So I did a show, but I trained all the footballers. So we had the first grade doing Swan Lake with a professional ballerina, and it just made so much money. And then people said, oh, can you come and give us a hand? One lady was going to do a fundraiser, and they were going to do raffles for 5 years. And I said, I can do a show in one night, which raised the $25,000 that she needed.
But it hasn't just been in the community. You've also had charity close to home. You've fostered a huge number
I've
of
got
children.
14 boys and 3 girls. It's been going on, I think, 35 years there. I've got a lawyer in the family, I've got a teacher. Every single one of them's done really well.
Well, I have a feeling that because you are one of the most flamboyant centerpieces of the town, that you also know everyone in town. So,
I do.
So what's Tommy the tour guide like?
Oh, I can show you around. There's some nice spots I'd love to show you around.
Great. Beautiful. What a cracking day you put on for it.
Gorgeous.
So tell me about the Balloon Festival.
Well, it's the biggest thing to happen in this whole area. So in April, they come from all over the world. They have a competition all week. And then at the end, they all take off with lights for the night time.
And it's such a gorgeous town to look at. This whole main street's heritage listed,
Yep.
isn't it? So much history just walking down here.
This is just absolutely gorgeous up here. So when they bought it, it was run down and been neglected for years. Beauty before age, Dale.
Ah, the super renovators, I believe.
Oh, well, I don't know about super, but renovators.
Well, what condition was this place in when you actually took it over?
Look, it was pretty close to derelict. Yeah.
When we first came here, because there was lots of holes, the roof was really bad.
Yeah.
I used to say to Jeffrey all the time, he was like the boy at the dike. We had buckets everywhere.
So it was a department store, Jeff, wasn't it?
Yeah, originally Finn's store was owned by the Finn family.
Yep.
And I think they traded for just on 100 years.
Oh, wow. This is great.
Yeah, this was one of the main delivery sections for the large items. We just glassed it in.
Well, congratulations. I mean, this is not only a gift to the local community, but for everyone who travels through. You've done a really great job.
Told you it was fabulous, and these two are legendary.
I tell you what, Tommy's Tours, you get an A+ for this place.
Jackie, I'm looking at that. I'm just trying to work out where we can put that in Montrose house.
There is no room.
Joe's a Libran as well. I'm going, oh,
I'll get him out. I'll bring him back for the pictures. So what's next up on the itinerary?
Well, this is the Age of Fishes. This is the biggest collection of fossils. You wouldn't believe it. Come and have a look and I'll show you.
Wow. Tommy, this is huge.
This is extraordinary. You wouldn't believe it in a small country town like this. So there's a regular guy out on a bulldozer on the side of the road, just grading the road, and he pulls it up. 360 million years old.
360 million.
Well, you have a look, the fish marks and everything.
Scales.
It's unbelievable. It's well known all around the world.
I'm not surprised.
So I'm not the only old fossil in Canowindra. Look.
So tell me about this.
This is the swinging bridge. This is what everybody talks about in Canowindra. When we were
Okay.
kids, we used to jump off this one here. Best time, and there's a weir down there, and this was the hangout spot. So it was to connect that end of Canowindra to that end of Canowindra. There was an old pub up there, which is no longer there. There's a plaque there now, Ben Hall's drinking grounds. Otherwise, you'd walk all the way around here instead of here. So,
Tommy, it is a perfect way to end a great tour. Thank you. I have loved today so much.
you.
I mean, what a little hidden gem Canowindra
great little
is.
town. It surprises a lot of people, I can tell you right now. We're all very special out here.
Yeah, but you're my kind of special. I
Oh,
love it.
thanks, Joel.
There's something about the Japanese landscape that draws me back time and time again. I've been visiting the gardens of Japan for over 40 years, but you know, you don't have to travel overseas to understand the history and culture of a country. You can come to Kaura and see one of the most magnificent traditional Japanese gardens in the Southern Hemisphere. The site was chosen by Ken Nakashima, a world-famous Japanese landscape designer. And to understand the garden, you have to realise it's all about Japanese symbolism in this incredible landscape. We're on the top of the mountain, which represents Mount Fuji, and you can hear the water rushing down the side of the hillside from the mountain all the way down to the upper lake through various streams and rivers. down to the white gravel, and that represents the beaches of the Pacific. It also provides a great habitat for the local wildlife to enjoy. The garden was actually built as a memorial to the Japanese prisoners of war who died during the Cowra breakout in 1944. The plant palette in the entire garden is a very clever selection of both native and exotic, and they work really well together. We have Ken Nakajima to thank for all the retaining of these beautiful old gums, and they're right throughout the entire landscape. This one is a white box Eucalyptus albans, and it's been here for a long, long time. Ken was really intent that these represent the strong, robust Australian soldiers, and they certainly do that well. When you look at the way that the roots and the rocks and the earth all combine as one, and again on this side, the soldiers, the gum trees, are definitely at home here. Throughout the garden, the shrubs are clipped and pruned into this really tight shape. They're all individual, and the design is called tamamono. Mono meaning single, one off. All of the mounds are actually squat, tight on the ground, broader and then narrower at the top so that you can see the landscape beyond. They're actually representing rocks and clouds sitting on the landscape. And they're really stunning, very dramatic. So when the plants all join up like the backs of a giant lizard or a dragon, it's called a karakomi. And that gives you a different form and landscape altogether. Now, the gardeners here have mastered lots of different pruning techniques, including cloud pruning. Now, if you select a fine leaf evergreen shrub yourself this weekend, you could give it a try at home. As you follow the pathways down, they take you actually on a journey. On the way, you pass what appears to be a little tea house, but in fact, these are symbolic little villages and houses along your journey. So it's a great place to relax and just sit and take in the vista. Wow, and you get these great garden views that are framed with the windows. But look at these Japanese black pines, they're magnificent. Now, Matt, you've been here, what, 14 years? They'd be original trees?
Original trees, yeah. So these guys are about 40 years old in the garden. So we're looking at pruning these two trees twice a year, once in the summertime, once in the autumn. And overall, the pruning techniques are to try and create balance. They say that the black pine pruning is the litmus test of your pruning skills.
Well, you guys have gone beyond that. Pretty harsh environment then, so what are your biggest challenges?
We're on a west-facing granite seam, so we do face all the elements through summer and winter. So that's where it's important that we're using products such as wetting agents. Irrigation is paramount.
Part of the garden's cultural history is housed in the cultural centre and includes a large collection of Japanese heritage items, including a Somaneshiki vase standing 1.4 metres high, which has a twin at the Japanese Imperial Palace in Tokyo, Japan. Now, I notice you've got a wonderful bonsai collection and students coming in to learn.
Yeah, that's right. It's, the bonsai lessons is something that we're really trying to grow, and we currently have some bonsai teachers coming in and taking students pretty regularly.
Well, you've got a very high standard of bonsais here for them to learn from and to observe, and it's a fantastic hobby, and in this location, it doesn't get any better.
If you're going to come, allow some time to escape. Yeah, come in, quieten your mind and forget about what's going on. Yeah, this is the place to be.
Well, I've come to the end of my journey, and I can't believe how gardens continue to bring people together. Now, if you're looking for somewhere, a destination to relax and unwind, you'd have to come out here to the central west of New South Wales. where you'll find a bit of Aussie history and a glorious landscape in one location.
Skin allergies in dogs have always been a major problem in veterinary practice. Certainly it was fleas years ago, but these days there are so many good products on the market to control fleas that I guess they really aren't a problem any longer. I want to show you one particular plant that can cause major problems to so many dogs that I've seen in practice, and it's this one. We call it wandering Jew. Now you find it in an area like I'm sitting, a lovely cool area under a tree. It's quite moist here, and in fact if you look at this plant and feel it, it actually feels quite moist and cool. So dogs love to come and lie in these sort of areas. They lie on this weed, which usually has a light blue flower, sometimes it's white, but it creeps along the ground with these dark green leaves, and they feel, as I said, soft and cold. So the dog remains here. Contact allergy, the dog itches and itches and itches. So if you have a dog which has a skin allergy problem, and it's certainly not fleas, have a good look around your backyard. Look for this sort of area under a shady tree and look for this particular plant. It's called wandering Jew. It's difficult to kill. A lot of the herbicides used to treat it are quite dangerous. My way of treating this has always been simply to cover it with black plastic, put on some old tyres or some pine bark. Smother it, in other words. It's difficult to kill, and it is a real pain in the neck for dogs.